I spent hours learning about blockchain technology so you don't have to. The phrase of the day is ledger, part 3. The main reaction I get when I describe ledgers to people is, so what? Blank stares. In my first video on ledgers, I explained them in very simple terms and described the history. In the second, I explained why people in the blockchain world talk about them so much. But something missing is this obvious question. Why do I care? Do I need a ledger? What's the point of this? I even said it in my first video. I've never gone online shopping for a ledger. I really don't think about them in my day-to-day life. That's probably a good thing. It's actually not exactly true because I do now think about ledgers in my day-to-day life as I make these videos. But you get the point. Generally speaking, at least for people in the US, most of your ledger needs are covered in quite well. You trust most of the ledgers in your life, even if you don't think of them as ledgers. There's your bank accounts and brokerage accounts, a checkbook if you, for some reason, still keep one and keep it properly. If you're involved in finance or accounting at work, it could be part of a general ledger system. So who really cares about this? Where does it really come into play? Well, an answer to what is a ledger is a tool that a developer would need to build some product. A great example here is Amazon Web Services, AWS. Most people have heard of AWS, but if you haven't, it's basically just servers, computing power that developers can tap into instead of building their own. Developers and companies basically pay AWS to run their servers instead of building a bunch of servers at their own office. The benefits are that AWS is a massive global company. It has servers all over the world. So if you want a server near someone in San Francisco, you got it. If you want a server near New York City, you have that as well. But developers have to decide to use AWS. They have other options, including building their own. The same is true for ledger systems. Imagine your bank account or Venmo account or brokerage account. Those companies will show you assets or transactions that have happened in your account. Those don't just magically appear. And there's not just some switch you can flip at AWS to turn on the ledger piece. Each of those companies has to provide, maintain, build a system that tells you what transactions have happened. How and how much of those systems they directly build or outsource, and how much of those systems connect to other systems in the world is a matter for the developers to decide. And it's not easy. So when you think about it from this perspective, a ledger is part of, or maybe a central component to a product. It's especially central for things like banking, investing, and money transfer. And from a developer perspective, this can be a place where blockchain networks shine. I did a previous video on self-custody, but something that makes self-custody possible is the blockchain approach to ledgers. The Solana network is a ledger, or better said, a ledger system. Built into that ledger system is this possibility of self-custody. Individual people can just show up to the Solana network and effectively open an account. And they can do this through various interfaces that aren't built by the Solana network. They output the results of the Solana network's ledger system. And if someone takes their account on the Solana network ledger system from one interface to another, they'll see the exact same result by definition. Regardless of the interface, an account on the Solana network is an account on the Solana network. This is part of why you often hear developers talk favorably about things like the Solana network, about blockchain network ledgers. Ledgers are just one part of certain interface systems. If you want to provide someone an account for financial transactions, you need a ledger. And it turns out blockchain networks are one option developers can turn to for this. And they come with a lot of nice features. 24/7 self-custody, this concept where you can bring them from one place to another. Turns out that's kind of nice.